who, uh, who, who is in charge of production over at WB? Who's in charge of production for Superman and Lois? Fantastic job. Fantastic job. Glorious. Absolutely glorious. Because, oh my god, yo, the production for this episode was on another level. I actually felt as though I was watching a 2-hour movie because I was so engrossed in what was going on. I was so engrossed in the story that they were trying to tell that like I completely lost track of time. This could have been a 2-hour movie. This could have literally been a 2-hour movie about Superman going to another Earth, dealing with the emotional baggage that his counterpart was essentially going through, trying to survive and saving the planet, but then the entire movie ends on a cliffhanger, which is what this episode was. Hey everybody, Sen here with today's sponsor for the video, NordPass. NordPass is a program created by the guys who made NordVPN. It stores all of your passwords in one location of your choosing offline that only you can access. It provides you with an autofill feature for the websites that you've already visited, and it also securely stores your credit card information offline that only you can access away from other people's prying eyes. But in the event that somebody's prying eyes are able to lay their eyes upon that of your information, NordPass will notify you of any data breaches involving your username, your passwords, or even your credit cards. And the best part, NordPass encrypts all of your data, like I said, locally, offline, that only you can access and the NordPass employees can't. If you're interested in trying out NordPass, visit nordpass.com/sen. Information is down in the description. You will get 2 years plus a free month for 50% off. Once again, that is nordpass.com/sen. Now, back to your regularly scheduled program. So fucking good. First off, let's talk about that initial shot when he goes through the portal and you see like him getting shredded and then he's put back together and then he shows up in their world. The very first thing I noticed when he showed up, I was like, that's a red sun. So for Superman in general, he's a battery that's always at 100% because there's always a yellow sun. So I like the fact that in this episode they didn't do the typical trope of as soon as he sees the red sun, he's like, oh no, oh my god, I'm weak. Because I absolutely fucking hate that. I like the fact that basically when he arrives, he's at 100%, and as the episode goes on, he gets lower and lower and lower and lower until basically he only has like a little bit of gas in the tank, and he uses that to try and get back to his world. Second off, everybody's performances this episode, holy shit, it's like everyone stepped up and was having fun with these alternate characters. Alternate Lois Lane, fantastic. I'm not gonna remember anybody's names. Actually, you know what, make this a little bit more authentic. We're gonna go ahead and pull up Superman and Lois's cast names so that I can like shout out everyone who did a fantastic job this episode. Let's go ahead over to IMDb. I probably did this before, but you know me, I like to do things on the fly. And we're just gonna like shout out everyone who was dope as shit. First off, Tyler Hoechlin, dude, crushing it, absolutely crushing it. I love seeing the life of Bizarro Clark, and I kind of wish we got to see more of his life because he's the version of Superman that took to fame and just spiraled out of control with drug abuse. And it's awesome seeing the transition from the beginning, because when Bizarro first shows up, you're like, oh, so everybody in Bizarro world looks like this. But then at the end of the last episode, Jonathan shows up and you're like, nah, he looks normal. So what's going on with Bizarro Clark? No, man, the story about him is just so much deeper. We got like what, 15, maybe 20 minutes of his backstory, and he infinitely became a better character because of it. So you get to see the progression from when he looks exactly like Clark from Earth 1, and then you see him spiral out of control. And then at first, you know, he's prim, he's proper, he looks exactly like Superman. But then like the hair gets a little greasy. It's like leaning towards the front. You start seeing bags and dark circles underneath his eyes, and you're like, oh, that transition's coming. taking too much kryptonite, because in their world, they huff kryptonite like a drug. Then you see the transition again where his skin is like super pale and he looks really old when he's talking to Bizarro Universe's Talro. Then you get the transition into Bizarro, where everything for him is completely fallen apart, and you kind of get the idea that his character was kind of on a redemption tour, where he saw all the mistakes that he made, basically living his life with Lois and being Superman, and he was trying to redeem himself and save his son, which makes it even more tragic the fact that he went to Earth 1. We didn't understand him. He was regarded as a threat. He was instantly killed. Well, I wouldn't really say he's instantly killed, but he was kind of killed off a little bit soon or early for my tastes. He never got to complete his mission. Dope ass conversation when Clark first lands and he's speaking with his mother. Well, the other counterpart of his mother, and she wants to know about her son, which is basically how both of the Lauras essentially react to the other Clark, which is like, who the hell is this? What about my son? What's going on? But they still care about Clark because, of course, it's just another version of their son. Let's talk about Jonathan. My man Jordan Elthis, crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. Usually he really doesn't have much to do except for like low-key kind of brood and then swoop in to save Jordan Kent. Dude was having a ball as a Metropolis kid. I like the fact that we kind of got to see what the consequences are of Jonathan being the one with powers, but also the consequences of him growing up under the Bizarro version of Clark Kent. Because of the fact that this version of Clark just doesn't give a shit. He's all about me. He's all about shoe deals, promotional tours, kissing babies, signing autographs, making money. He doesn't really give a shit about his family. His family is like a secondary afterthought. So it was great seeing basically him spiral out of control, where he discovers he has powers. He starts trying to be a hero. He realizes that his father really doesn't like live up to the level of being a hero. He goes off, does his own thing, gets indoctrinated into a cult, which is one of the things that I can say about this episode is like he runs into like this chick and they start dating. And in the back of my mind, I was like, aren't you like 15, 16? He's like a grown ass woman. What's happening? What's happening here? Like, I understand that you can basically do whatever the fuck you want because like you have superpowers. But I was like, I didn't really think they were going to cross that little bit of a murky little line. But then they reveal that her existence was basically to gaslight him. Her whole reason for even approaching him was to get him to transition into this cult and essentially be taken control of by Allie as another one of her soldiers. Speaking of Allie, is her name on here? I do not see her name on this list. And I do not know who you are, lady, but you are excellent. You are absolutely fantastic. And if I can find your name, I absolutely freaking would. Hold on, let me see if I can find her name, because I want to give this lady credit because she is so fucking good. No, I don't see her name. Like, they don't have her name on the casting list. Like, if you know her name, comment down below, because holy shit. Hold on. Let me see if I can find her name, because he is really, really good. Her name is Raya Kilstead. You are, lady, you are great. Like, oh my god. Every single time you show up, like, I feel as though I'm being fucking indoctrinated. And that is a mark of a great actor, to make you feel as though they are actually a cult leader trying to recruit you into a cult. Because there were a couple times that she was talking and giving her speech, and I was like, you know what, yeah, there's a lot of, like, you know, dark shit out here in the world, and people are kind of missing themselves. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. You ain't bamboozling me. And that's fantastic. When an actor can do that, completely draw you into, like, their role, it's super great. It's dope as shit, and I fucking love it. Moving on to other people who are having an absolute fucking ball this episode. We have Bitsy. Bitsy. Elizabeth Tulloch, fantastic as Lois. If you were unsure about her as Lois Lane, watching her play Earth 1 Lois and then Bizarro World Lois, she is having a ball as well. Like, I love the fact that she kind of like got to flex a little bit, show a little bit of anger. The conversation between her and Clark when they're yelling back and forth, and she doesn't give a fuck if he has superpowers. She's like, I'm taking my son, I'm getting the fuck up out of here because you're on drugs and you're not the man that I married, who I fell in love with, and blah 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 blah. And I was like, you go, fucking Lois Lane, balls of steel, no matter what fucking universe they're in. Alex Garfin, who plays Jordan Kent, fantastic as well. He doesn't have a lot to do this episode until you get to like the emotional scene between him and what's his name, Johnson, between him and Johnson, where he basically breaks down and says that, you know, your father's dead, and then he starts also breaking down and getting super emotional. Great. Wasn't in it for long, but you really felt his loss as like the only person besides Lois in the Bizarro world who was actually mourning the death of Bizarro's Superman. But Hal Rowe, what's your name, man? Morgan Edge, Adam Rayner, man, crushing it again. I love the fact he gets to show up and he gets to just like have fun as like the super fun, jovial, best friend, brother / uncle. And then at the end, even though he was on Ali's side, he's like, some bonds are thicker than cult bullshit. And he betrays his Lana in order to basically give this version of Clark a chance to get back to his Earth. I'm really hoping that we get a relationship development between both Earth 1 Clark and Earth 1 Tal Rho, because I love when both of them are on screen together. Like, I was supposed to make a video about them being the Super Sons. They're basically the Super Sons. They're super fantastic. Like, the House of L and the House of Rho working together, man, to get shit done. Emmanuel Chiriqui, fantastic as Lana, as Bizarro World Lana. Like, she shows up, instantly stole the scene. I love the fact that basically in this universe, Tal used the tech to give people Kryptonian abilities without removing their consciousness. So she has Kryptonian abilities, but for the most part, she's human. Great. Like I said, everyone in this episode crushed it. Across the board, 100%. Even the fight scenes were great. Like, this show really takes advantage of the fact that it doesn't have to be drawn out across 24 episodes. So they can focus all of their funding on basically doing super dope ass fights, the way in which people with super speed would fight. Like Anderson fighting Jonathan, and then at first he has the upper hand, but the longer he fights, the more he burns through the XK in his system. As a result, Jonathan starts dominating him. Tries to go in for like the super Megaton punch. Jonathan was like, nope, click, knocked him out, crushed his chest. And I was like, that's dope as hell. The unexpected death scene that happened super early where Jonathan burns him. First off, the reverse powers are so great. I love the fact that like when their eyes power up, it's white for cold vision, and then they breathe fire. Fantastic. Absolutely fucking love it. The fight between Clark and Tal Rho and Lana Lang with superpowers in the Bizarro world, dope as shit. And the ending has me stoked, because at the end of the episode, we see that Ali is merging with essentially her Earth 1 counterpart. So they're turning into whatever the hell they're planning to turn into, which is like God something. And I thought she needed like the pendant 24/7 in order to like have these abilities. But we see Jonathan return back to the Kent farm. But now the question is Jonathan going to fuse with his Earth 1 self in order to basically create this new being? And is that how our Jonathan is going to get powers? Or will this be the situation where our Jonathan reveals that he has powers and he mops the floor with his Bizarro World counterpart? So many questions. So many fucking questions. Excellent episode. I hate the fact that this show goes on hiatus like every 2 episodes, but it's well worth it. If you're not watching Superman and Lois, I suggest you watch Superman and Lois, because Superman and Lois is fucking fantastic. Let me know how you feel about this episode. Let me know your theories down in the comment section, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.